Prince of Wales has intervened publicly in defense of King Charles III, breaking with decades, if not centuries, of royal convention. The scene unfolded earlier today inside Westminster Abbey, where Prince William, attending what had been expected to be a routine ceremonial event, delivered an unscripted and remarkably direct statement that immediately shifted the political mood across Britain. Speaking with a calm but deliberate tone, the prince declared, "My father's wisdom and dedication to this nation require no defense from any politician." Those 12 words, described by observers as the most consequential royal remark in modern times, appeared to be directed squarely at Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, who was standing just meters away. Witnesses described an atmosphere of visible shock as the Prime Minister remained silent, his expression subdued, while ministers beside him exchanged uncertain glances. The moment has already been labeled historic by constitutional experts who note that a direct defense of the monarch by an heir apparent, especially in a context implying criticism of the sitting government, represents a remarkable departure from the royal family's long-standing policy of political neutrality. Within minutes of the exchange, social media platforms were inundated with footage, so the event and the hashtag #SharfDefendTheCrown began trending globally, reflecting both the scale of public interest and the growing sense that Britain may be entering one of its most significant constitutional crises in generations. The dramatic events inside Westminster Abbey did not arise in isolation, but followed several days of mounting controversy over leaked communications from within the Labour government. According to reports circulated earlier this week, a series of private WhatsApp messages allegedly exchanged among senior advisors close to Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer appeared to outline a coordinated strategy to portray King Charles III as politically partial, outdated, and disconnected from modern British society. The messages, which have not been independently verified, were said to include a suggestion that the monarchy could be framed as an unelected obstacle to progress, language that has drawn fierce criticism from across the political spectrum. Sources within Whitehall described the alleged campaign as part of a broader effort to reshape public perception of the crown, a move that, if confirmed, would represent a striking break from the traditional respect afforded to constitutional institutions by successive governments. Reports in The Telegraph further claimed that elements of the strategy had been developed with input from external communications consultants, including firms previously involved in high-intensity political campaigns abroad, with an estimated budget exceeding $300,000. Government officials have not confirmed these figures, but the opposition has seized on the allegations of accusing Labour of misusing taxpayer funds for partisan purposes. The timing of Prince William's intervention has therefore been interpreted by analysts as a direct response to this growing controversy, reflecting concern within royal circles that the monarchy itself was being drawn into political debate. Senior palace aides have described the prince's statement as considered and deliberate, emphasizing that it was drafted with the counsel of constitutional advisors over the course of 2 days. Insiders also suggest that the Princess of Wales played a quiet but influential role in encouraging her husband to act, reportedly telling him, "Your father needs you, if not now, when?" While Buckingham Palace has declined to comment on private family discussions, the exchange underscores the depth of feeling within the royal household over what they perceive as an unprecedented challenge to the institution's dignity and stability. The aftermath of Prince William's statement has sent a profound shockwave through Britain's political establishment and beyond, triggering widespread debate about the relationship between the monarchy and the government. Within hours of the Abbey event, footage of the prince's remarks circulated across every major news outlet and social media platform, with commentators describing the moment as a turning point in modern constitutional history. The reaction inside Westminster was immediate and intense. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, who appeared visibly unsettled during the ceremony, has so far refrained from making any direct comment on the incident, though his office has issued a brief statement urging respect for the boundaries of constitutional roles. Cabinet ministers and senior Labour figures have been reportedly divided on how to respond, with some advising restraint and others pressing for a more assertive rebuttal. Meanwhile, political opponents have seized the opportunity to amplify the controversy. Conservative MPs and Reform UK representatives have accused Starmer's government of disrespecting national heritage, while several backbench Labour members have privately expressed concern that the situation is spiraling out of control. Public sentiment appears equally volatile. Across the country, thousands have taken to social media to express support for the prince's defense of the king, framing it as an act of principle and patriotism in the face of perceived political opportunism. Hashtags such as "defend the crown" and "respect the king" dominated global trending lists for nearly a full day, while opinion polls conducted in the immediate aftermath show a measurable surge in approval ratings for the royal family. Analysts suggest that the optics of the encounter, the poised prince defending his father as the prime minister looked on in silence, have had a profound emotional impact, even among voters not typically engaged with royal matters. One particularly viral video posted by a lifelong Labour supporter expressing disillusionment with her party's handling of the situation captured the shifting public mood. "I've supported Labour for decades," she said, "but watching a future king stand up for his father while our leader stood frozen, that's not leadership." Her remarks have since been viewed millions of times, becoming emblematic of a broader sense of unease within Labour's traditional base. Political commentators on both sides now agree that this confrontation has placed Sir Keir Starmer in an extraordinarily difficult position, one in which every response risks deepening the crisis rather than resolving it. As the political turbulence intensified, Buckingham Palace sought to project calm and continuity, with King Charles III delivering a carefully worded and dignified response that underscored his commitment to constitutional impartiality. Speaking at a private dinner for Commonwealth leaders at Buckingham Palace, His Majesty addressed the situation indirectly but unmistakably, remarking that the Crown does not engage in political battles. "We serve, we do not rule, but we also do not abandon the principles that have guided this nation through centuries of challenge." The statement, described by senior palace officials as deliberate and deeply considered, was widely interpreted as both a defense of the monarchy's integrity and a subtle show of support for the Prince of Wales's decision to speak out. Present at the dinner were representatives from across the Commonwealth, including the Governors General of Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, lending the King's words significant international resonance. Constitutional scholars noted that while the monarch refrained from any direct criticism of the government, the tone of his remarks conveyed an unmistakable message that the institution of the monarchy would not be drawn into partisan disputes, yet would also not remain silent in the face of sustained attack. Meanwhile, inside Downing Street, reports of growing disarray began to surface. Multiple sources described a government gripped by internal panic, with ministers openly disagreeing over how to manage the fallout. Senior advisors were said to be at odds over whether to issue a formal apology or to deny the authenticity of the leaked communications that had sparked the controversy. One insider told the BBC that the atmosphere feels like the final days of a government losing control of its narrative. Adding to the turmoil, 3 Labour peers reportedly indicated their willingness to support a formal censure motion in the House of Lords, a move that, if carried out, would mark the first such rebuke of a sitting Prime Minister in more than 2 centuries. The opposition parties, meanwhile, have intensified their attacks, accusing the government of undermining the constitutional balance that has long defined British democracy. Financial markets responded nervously, with the pound experiencing a noticeable dip amid investor concerns over political instability. Analysts in the City of London warned that constitutional uncertainty is the one variable markets cannot easily price, raising fears of longer-term repercussions if confidence in the government continues to erode, with the Labour Party's poll numbers reportedly falling to their lowest levels in years, and rumours of internal leadership discussions beginning to circulate. The Prime Minister now faces what commentators describe as the most serious political and moral test of his career. The domestic fallout from the confrontation has now spilled onto Britain's streets, with spontaneous demonstrations emerging across major cities including London, Manchester, Birmingham, and Glasgow. Crowds numbering in the tens of thousands gathered in city centres, carrying banners with messages such as "Respect our King" and "Defend the Crown," reflecting widespread anger over what many perceive as a government campaign to discredit the monarchy.